If you've established now that you're going to start doing some practice, that's fantastic. Anyone going to the golf range or anyone going to the practice ground and practicing their golf gets a big thumbs up from me. That's fantastic. Let's do more of it. But let's also make sure that the time you spend practicing is the most efficient time you could possibly spend. Time is tight. We know that for most people. They might be able to carve out an hour or two every week to go to the golf course or the range and practice. So we want to make sure that that practice time is very valuable. And one thing I see an awful lot, and I actually saw it this week on the lesson tee, was somebody who was categorically practicing the wrong thing. And it's difficult for me to sort of say, you're wasting your time here, but it certainly wasn't the most valuable use of time. And he was practicing and actually asked for a lesson on how to hit a 3-wood from the fairway. Fine, we can do a lesson on that. But the caveat I asked at the start of that lesson is, how many of these are you getting on the golf course? 2. 2 times in every round of golf, this guy's hitting a 3-wood from the fairway. Probably a par 5, needs to hit his second shot up there. And we hit a few balls and he was hitting them about 210, you know, a little bit of fade, but they were fine. And I said, what do you want? I want it 240, I want a nice high draw. I said, we can do that, that's fine, but that'll take an awful lot of effort. That will take some critical swing changes and possibly a different golf club and a little bit of swing speed training to get it to go 240 with a nice little draw rather than the 210. But also, why? You know, you're only doing this twice a round. The difference between 210 and 240, even if 240 reaches the green, might only be a shot, 2 shots in a round. I've seen this guy putt, I've seen this guy chip, and I've seen him hit his driver. Let me tell you, there's more than 2 shots a round to be gained by focusing on the more important things. So what I would suggest in your own game is not only do you practice, but you isolate the things that you need to practice on the most. And the classic best way to do this is stats. Keep some stats. We certainly see at the top end of sport, most teams now are data driven. We're looking at distance off the tee, proximity to the hole, strokes gained, putts, bunker shots, all these sorts of different areas. And be it in sport, be it in business, be it in life, data is key. And if you're going to come to the driving range, you're going to practice hard, you're going to take a golf lesson, let's make sure you're focused on the things that we think are going to be the biggest ROI, the biggest return on the investment. Here, you're investing time. Let's make sure we get a decent return on that investment. Start with some stats. Look at how straight you drive the ball. Look at how far you drive the ball. Look at how many putts you're taking. If you get really into the weeds of this, you might start looking at proximity to the hole. You might start looking at other golfers at your level in your handicap. How are they beating you? I can guarantee they're not beating you because they're hitting the 3-wood slightly better than you. They're beating you because they can putt better or they can drive better. So practice the right things to see your golf scores improving.